back here again with another lesson. First and foremost, and to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. All prayers and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who brought out this truth many, many years ago and still to this day preaching us this truth. I want to say shalom to all the true believers, the men and the women that's learning, teaching, and seeking the Lord. I will all say sincerity, due diligence. I want to say to our shalom, just back with another lesson real quick. We're going to get straight into it. And as you can see, the man of sin, the man of perdition, the man of lawlessness, Esau, even the so-called white man, this man right here that a lot of people trust in and believe in, Donald Trump, and it says latest Epstein files reveal underage girl claiming Trump forced oral sex. And the Lord is exposing these men, exposing all the secret places, exposing all the secrets, you know, exposing all the defenses, anything that they got going on. The Lord is exposing them and slowly showing who the man of sin, who the man of perdition is, man. Right here, and it says, according to the report, TMZ, a newly released Department of Justice documents concerning Jeffrey Epstein contain a disturbing allegation, which we all know is true, that President Trump forced an underage girl to perform oral sex with him approximately 25 years ago. It says the accusation, which TMZ from the latest trench of 3.5 pages it says investigative files stems from a summary of tip line call where an individual claimed a friend who was roughly 13 or 14 years old at the time was how you say that coerced into a sexual acting location, New Jersey. The specific allegation are part of master relief of records mandated by the Epstein Island Files Transparency Act, which required the DOJ to make public investigation files on a disgraced financer. And I'm sure it's some true. I know Trump seen some, seen this, but they could have got it wiped down. But let's go back real quick and look what they're doing now. Look what they're saying now. First they saying, he under claiming, but now right here it says files containing Trump's name removed from second release of Epstein Island files. You see that? So what they're trying to do is clear this man's name. You know what I'm saying? Trying to prove his innocence and trying to wipe his name out of out of the files. But we already know, and it's already written. It's already in there, man. You know. And let's grab this precept real quick. We're gonna go to Psalms 73, I think, and 5. I think that's what it is. Psalm 73 and 5. Yeah, when it says they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. But the key part is they are not in trouble as other men. So this man can, a lot of these entertainers and athletes and actresses, all your entertainers that these people look up to, that these people, hold of a high value. A lot of them are are pedos, man. A lot of them are gapists. A lot of them are just, most of them are nothing but puppets and characters in the movie. But at the end of the day, man, this how you know they not the real people of the Lord. They not the chosen people of the Lord. They ain't nobody important, man. Look at this. It says they are not in trouble as other men. If you tell me a man like this can be president and still have these allegations on the name and still run a country, this how you know this is they heaven and our hell, man. But right here it says in January 26, the long-awaited release of FT Island files have become a central flashpoint in American politics following the passage of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. The Department of Justice released a massive trench of documents that has sparked intense debate over redactions, if I'm saying that right, redactions and removal of specific names. See, they trying to hide, and the ones who are the elites and the people who have a higher value, higher status, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to remove all their names, trying to remove all the information. But like I said, it's already written. It's already been documented, right? But again, it says, let's start from the top. We're gonna start at it says, for there are no bans on no death, but their strength is firm. The main point, like I said, they are not in trouble as other men, and that's Esau, man. He's not in trouble like we are. You know what I'm saying? His laws is mostly to oppress the nation of Israel, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. You could read that in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, I think, verse 11. The strength is in his law. All the laws and legislations, all the things he puts out. Most of that stuff is mostly to oppress the nation of Israel and to get them off scot free. You know, but they still going around doing their things, invading other countries, snatching resources. ICE still, being wicked out there, just killing random people. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's innocent, but still out there killing random ass people. As you can see here too, they building these right here. not building, but they buying these detention centers. And who you think these detention centers is for, man? Right? Who do you think they for? That's them. That's these concentration camps where they holding the nation of Israel in there, man. The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This is what they for. Because right now they going around snatching anybody, kicking it, going to people's jobs, taking people who are so-called U.S. citizens. With no, it don't matter if you know black, Hispanic, Native. They coming after all of them, man. It's kind of like the King Alfred plan, and it's just only beginning. You should, and if you don't know what the King Alfred plan, look that up. It's a way to where it's a plot and scheme to where they would snatch up, you know, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in 8 hours, man. And if you look it up, it go into more detail. But that's what this lesson is about, man. You know that the triumph of the wicked is short lived, right? Right now they doing their thing. They living large, getting away off scotch free. That's what it seemed like. But the Lord is saving the best for last, right? So we're gonna start at the book of Job, chapter 20. We're gonna read out of NLT, and we're gonna break Job chapter 20 down, and we're gonna grab a couple precepts to go with it. So let's start here, and it says Job chapter 20, verse 1. It says, "Then Zophar the Naamathite replied, I must reply because I am greatly disturbed. I have endured your insults, but now my spirit triumphs me to reply." This is when Job was going through his affliction, and he was having a conversation with some brothers, and he was going back and forth, just you know having a conversation. And he said right here, starting at verse 4 again, he says, "Don't you realize that from the beginning of time, ever since people were first placed on earth," verse 5, it said, "The triumph of the wicked has been short lived, and joy of the godless has only been temporary," man. And see, this is only a temporary place, man. So anybody who trusts in this place to two-thirds, who want to believe in America, who can't see past their front yard, who only think that America is our last stomping ground, these people they don't understand that this place is temporary, man. This is the Lord that has raised Esau up and gave him the power, just to bring him down and embarrass this man. He's saving the best for last, man. Right? So they right here they only been ruling for a short time and it's only temporary. Soon they're gonna be cut down. Right? So the first precept I want to grab for Job chapter 20, verse 5. We're gonna stay in the book of Job, but we're gonna go to Job chapter 8, verse 12 and 13. Right here. Job chapter 12 and verse 13. It says, "While they are still flowering, not ready to be cut, the big slacking. While they are still flowering, not ready to be cut, they begin to wither more quickly than grass." See that? And that's Esau, man. Because right now Esau's still flowering. Everything he's doing is still prospering, it's still flourishing. You know what I'm saying? As you see, he's over there, ICE doing what they want. He's getting away scot free off the Epstein Island files. His name is being wiped away out of a lot of those documents. Um, he went over there, as you can see, over there when he went in, what is it? Venezuela when he took Mandoro. Right. So right now, he's still flowering, he's still prospering, he's still showing his power. Right now, it's not his time to be cut down, but soon they'll begin to weather more quickly than grass. But soon this place is going to weather away, and it's doing that more and more each day. The American dollar is crashing. You know what I'm saying? You got all these different nations teaming up to come up against America, even America's own allies. And it's right in front of their eyes, man. They can't see it because, like as you read in the book of Obadiah, the heart of the proud have deceived thee. They think no one can bring them down. They think no one can destroy them. And Esau in America is so boastful and so prideful because they haven't suffered any consequences. But like I said, the Lord is saving the best for last. Verse 13 it says, "The same happens to all who forget who forget Yahweh," which would be the two-thirds. The two-thirds that believe in America, that trust in Donald Trump and all these entertainers and athletes, what I'm saying, they're gonna suffer the same fate as Esau Edom. That says the hopes of godless people evaporate. Yeah, man, they're gonna be evaporated with the nuclear missiles in the lake of fire, man. The Esau kingdom is weathered way more and more each day, and the two-thirds gonna suffer the same fate. Right? Let's go to another precept. Let's go to Psalms chapter 37. We're going that wrong. 37 and let me see. I think 35. Yep, Psalms 37 and 35 through 38. Pretty much saying the same thing, proving that Esau's kingdom is only, it's temporary. It says, "I have seen wicked and ruthless people flourishing like a tree in its native soil." And that's Esau. They flourishing. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, everything they're doing is prosperous. They still in power. So it seems like everything is okay. Verse 36, "But I look again and they were gone. See it. That's how it's gonna be in America. America's gonna be wiped out in within 60 minutes, man, with them nuclear missiles. Though I search for them, I cannot find them. Why? Because Esau, Edom is gonna be destroyed. All of Idumea, the Edomite nation, all of them is gonna be destroyed, and then they're gonna go into captivity for 1,000 years, and after that, they're gonna be completely evaporated off the face of the earth. Verse 37. Look at those who are honest and good. Oh, that's not what I ain't in the notes. It was just 35 and 36. Right. So let's continue. Let's go back to the book of Job, chapter 20. Salakia. Now we have verse 6. We'll start at 5 and verse 6. Right here again, it says, the triumph of the wicked has been short lived, and the temporary of godless has been only temporary. Because this place is only temporary, and the 2/3 they can't see beyond their front yard. So, this the place they trust. They're not knowing that this place is temporary. Though the pride of the godless reaches the heavens, their heads touches the clouds, yet they will vanish forever, thrown away like their own dung. Those who knew them will ask, where are they? You see that? And that's Esau. I mean, Esau's gonna be evaporated off the face of the earth. His whole bloodline is going to be wiped off the face of the earth. It's just going to be no more remainder of Esau, even the so-called white man. But we're gonna grab a precept for verse 6. It says, again, though the pride of the godless reaches the heavens, their heads touches the clouds, man. And so the first precept on the graph is Isaiah 14, because this man, like I said, this man is boastful. This man is prideful. Okay, I spelled that right. Isaiah 14. We're going to go down to verses 13 through 16 right here. And it says, for you said to yourself, I will ascend to heaven and set my throne above Yahweh's stars. And that's Esau, man. He builds the highest towers. You got all the tall buildings in the world, the big tall skyscrapers. They got a space force up there in the heavens, prepared to come against Yahweh Shah when the chariots come. That's how boastful and prideful this man is, and arrogant. He really think he gonna, fight the most high. It says, I will preside on the mountain of the gods far away from the north, which would be Esau, even so-called white men in America. I will climb the highest of heavens and be like the Most High, and that's why they're thinking that the heart of the pride of deceived, because like I said, they never suffered any consequences. They over there, just going to different countries, taking resources, trying to go into Mexico, trying to go to Colombia. ICE, they're making up all these different laws so they can, you know, kill people on sight, making it easy for them to get the job, to work for ICE, and to work for people to take the immigrants and kill them and get off scot free. You know what I'm saying? So they don't haven't suffered any consequences, but the Lord is stacking up sin on top of sin, as it said in the scriptures. That the sins has reached the heavens. Roughly paraphrasing. Verse 15 is said, you will be brought down to the place of the dead, down to the lowest depth. That Esau, even the so-called white man, he is going to get destroyed completely. He's going to be brought down low, right? His pride is what's going to get him destroyed. His arrogance. Verse 16, everyone will stare at you and ask, can this be the one who shook the earth and made the kingdoms in the world tremble? So they're gonna be surprised. That's why the Lord has built him up so much, to the fact that everybody thinks that America can't be destroyed, that they got the best military might, America's the greatest country in the world, or nobody can destroy us, because like I said, they never suffered any consequences. But soon, like I said, this place is withering away more and more each day. um this place is going to be brought down low for everybody to see. And this is what people are going to be asking. They will stare at asking, this be the one who shook the earth and made the kingdoms of the world tremble? And this is why the 2/3 that trust in them, Isaiah 30 and 1, Isaiah chapter 30, Isaiah 31 and 1. Hey, these people gonna be shook, man. They're gonna be put to shame, and they're gonna be embarrassed, because this is the place they trust in. They trusted in the military might. They trusted in Donald Trump. They trusted in the people of value, over there, because of the simple fact just of their names, who they are, and what they put out on the TVs, man, and because of how boastful they are. But soon this place is gonna get brought down low. Oh, right, even right here it says, let's go continue. It says, is this the one who destroyed the world and made it into a wasteland? Yeah, of course, that's Esau, even the so-called white man in America. Is this the king who demolished the world's greatest cities and had no mercy on his prisoners? See, hey, they gonna ask all these questions. Is this the one who been so boastful and prideful, going to all these different countries, stealing their resources, kidnapping their presidents and leaders, oppressing the nation of Israel? Hell yeah, man! The Lord is gonna bring this place down low, man. He's gonna embarrass Esau. He's gonna, he's like, just like he did. It's like it, just like how he did with Pharaoh. He hardened Pharaoh's heart, because best believe, if if the Lord didn't harden Pharaoh's heart, Pharaoh would have been let them people go. But the Lord hardened his heart to show his power, man. He's doing the same thing with Esau. You know what I'm saying? You can read that. And I think the book of Romans, chapter 9, man. He's doing the same thing with Esau. He's building Esau up as this big, boastful, the American land of the pride, the land of the brave, the land of the free, just to embarrass this man and bring him down in front of everybody. Making people think that this man can't be, brought down low. But of course, like I said it before, let's go to the book of Obadiah. Hopefully I spelled that right. Yep, Obadiah. We're gonna go to verses 3 and 4 right here. You have been deceived by your own pride. See, because you live in a rock fortress, you make your home high in the mountains. Who can ever reach his way up here? You ask boastfully. That's Esau, full of pride, full of ego. No one can bring him down, as I said, because he hasn't suffered any consequences. But even if you soar as high as eagle and build your nest among the stars, I will bring you crashing down, says the Adonai Yahweh. So the Lord is gonna bring this whole nation crashing down in front of everybody, man. And he's slowly doing it now. Everybody think America is this great American dream, but in reality, it's one big fucking nightmare. I say it all the time. And America is nothing but a Gucci belt, a fake. It look good on a fake Gucci belt. It look good on the outside, but as soon as you get here, man, it's like I said, it's one big nightmare. You got ICE kicking at people's doors, going into their jobs. Killing people, kidnapping them, taking them to these detention centers. You already know what they're doing there. They gaping the kids, separating from their kids, gaping them, starving them. It was a couple of videos where some of these detention centers that you heard people screaming for help. It's going to be a lot more of that. This is only the beginning of sorrows. The American dollar is crashing. The economy is fucked up. All these job cuts. You know what I'm saying? So this place is slowly coming crashing down. But most importantly, the main thing is that um what's going to bring this place crashing down completely is the nuclear missiles, man. The destruction of America. Yep, which is comes through Yahweh Shah. All right, so let's go back to Job chapter 20. We're going through verse 7, 7 and 8. Starting at 6 again, it says, though the pride of the godless reaches to heaven, their heads touch the clouds. They will vanish forever, thrown away like their own dung. See, they're going to be gone forever. After 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, they're going to be wiped off the face of the earth. Those who knew them would ask, where are they? They would fade like a dream and not be found. They would vanish like a vision in the night. Those who once saw them will see them no more. The families will never see them again. Right, so let's get a precept of verse 8. Job chapter 18, verse 18. I'm going to stay in the book of Job. If I can spell that right. Job 18 and verse 18. At NLT, it says they will be thrust from light into darkness. It says driven from the world. So that's them being pushed out, the state of prosperity. That right now, like I said, they flourish and everything they doing is prospering. But this is them getting, pushed out of that time, man, pushed out of the state of prosperity, joy, you know, and it's only gonna bring calamity and ruin on this place. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue on verse 9. So I got a precept for 9 too. So let's read again, verse 8. It's like it ain't 12. Verse 8 through 9 real quick. I can't wait till I get the hang of this all the way. It says they would fade like a dream and not be found. They would vanish like a vision at night. It says those who once saw them will see them no more. Their families will never see them again. Their children will beg from the poor, and they must give back their stolen riches, man. Yeah, see. So even their children, that whole bloodline is going to suffer, all because of what their forefathers have done and what they're continuing to do right now. All right, so let's grab a precept again, for verse 9, which will go to Psalms 90, 4 through 5. Right here, and it says, "For 1,000 years are passing day as brief as a few hours." For that's Yahweh Shah. 1,000 years means one day to the Lord. And it says, "You sweep people away like dreams that disappear. They are like grass that springs up in the morning. In the morning it blooms and flourishes. By the evening it's dried and withered." And that's this kingdom, man. That's why it says Esau is the end of the world, Jacob's beginning, that follow it. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be completely wiped out of the earth, man. All his flourishing, all his prosperity, all his power. The Lord is gonna wipe all that away. His wealth, his strength, his military. The Lord is gonna wipe all that away, man. Right now it's flourishing. Everything seems cool. They could go in other people's countries, take their resources, sell their oil, bring other countries in to pump some of Venezuela's oil. Never being satisfied. All to be just total being the complete devil, man. You know. So let's continue. Let's go back to Job, chapter 20, verse 6 again. I'm not gonna read from 8 all the way down to 10. All right. All right, it just says again, they will fade like a dream and not be found. They will vanish like a vision in the night. Those who once saw them will see them no more. Their families will never see them again. Their children will beg from the poor, so they must give back the stolen riches. Though they are young, their bones will lie in the dust, man. So, like I said, their kids is going, the whole bloodline of Esau, Edom, is going to feel this. Is going to feel this judgment, man, because they're going into hardcore bond of slavery. And when they have, if they was, I think they'll be able to have the kids in the kingdom as well. The kids still gonna wake up as slaves, man. You know, everything that they've done to us is gonna come back to them just in a righteous way of slavery, right? So his kids are gonna be reduced to such extreme poverty. They're gonna be begging and seeking everything from us, from the very people that their forefathers have oppressed. They're gonna go through the same way of being oppressed, and instead of us being the borrowers, they're gonna be the borrowers, and we're gonna be the lenders, man. Right? So let's go. Still at the book of Job. Let's go to Job chapter 5, verse 3 and 4. And it said right here, NLT, I have seen fools may be successful for a moment, but then comes some disaster, and that's America. These are nothing but childs and babies or immature people that's running the earth right now. Unwise kings. It says right here that children are abandoned far from help. They are crushed in court and no one to defend them. You see that? So their whole bloodline of Esau Edom is going to be destroyed. You know, so even though Esau may seem strong and full of life, they have their wealth, they have all that strength. You know what I'm saying? All their wealth and their strength and the military might, none of that is going to save them, you know, from the death and the judgment of Yahweh Yahushua. Their sin gonna stay with them all throughout the whole bloodline. As long as Esau's bloodline is here on this earth, from the time the forefathers was here all the way to now, hey, that judgment is gonna follow them all the way through. The sin is gonna follow them all the way through. That's why I said the sins has reaching all the way up to the heavens. Their kids not getting exempt. Their kids are going to go into slavery. They're going to go into slavery. The kids are going to slavery. And after 1,000 years, the whole nation is going to get wiped off the face of the earth. Period, man. So let's go back to Job. I keep spelling that shit wrong. Go back to Job 20. I'm not gonna read 12 through 15. Or was I at 10? Again, right here it says that children will beg from the poor and they must give back the stolen riches. Though they are young, their bones will lie in the dust. Right here, 12 to 15, they enjoyed the sweet taste of wickedness and letting it melt under their tongue. They savored it, holding it long in their mouths. But suddenly the food in their bellies turned sour, poisonous venom. You know how you have a piece of candy and you just sucking on it, trying to save it, or you say you sucking on the breath mint. You're trying to save it all the way up until the very last drop. That's Esau, man. He's trying to savor this wickedness. They out there cloning themselves, freezing themselves just to thinking they going, building these underground bunkers, thinking they're gonna get away from the judgment of the Lord, man. But no, it's not gonna help them in a time of trouble. Uh, Verse 14, but suddenly the food in their bellies will turn sour and the poisonous venom in their stomach. They will vomit the wealth they swallow. Yahweh won't let them keep it down, man. It's a trap, because like I said, their pleasure is temporary. That like I said, they have yet to suffer any consequences. They pretty much just doing what the fuck they want. But soon, everything they're doing is gonna come back on them. They can keep trying to save that wealth, keep cloning themselves, keep freezing themselves, trying to reserve themselves all the way to the end. Everything they do still is gonna come back on them. It's gonna come all the way through that bloodline. And plus, through regeneration, their spirits they are gonna come back anyway, man. So you can't keep what you gain through evil. Eventually, the consequences will force you to lose everything you thought you had, man. You know, so everything that they swallowed down, all the riches and everything, hey, that's gonna come back on them, right? So let's continue. Verse 16. It says, they will suck the poison of the cobras, the vipers will kill them. They will never again enjoy streams of olive oil and rivers of milk and honey. So after they go into the hardcore slavery, they will never again be in power. They'll never again get to uh, receive any joy. because after that 1,000 years, like I said, they could be wrapped off the face of the earth, but they're never going to be able to become in power again. The Lord is going to destroy them completely. uh, Verse 17, they will give back everything they work for. Their wealth will bring them no joy. And like I said, that's that perfect balance. They held us into captivity, took everything away from us. We're gonna do the same for them. Their pride, their dignity, you know, their women, all of that, man. We're gonna take everything from them. Think we're gonna work them to death. We're gonna not even say torture them, but we're gonna do them how they did us, man. And after 1,000 years, they're gonna be wiped off the face of the earth, right here, all because of what they did to us. It says, "For they oppressed the poor and left them destitute and foreclosed their homes." So let's look up this word. Who is the poor? Right? When they speak of the poor, who is the poor? Uh, just the right one.
Strong's H 1800 Dal.
Dal. So
Dal.
the poor mean is dal in the Hebrew. It means low, poor, weak, thin, one who is low, and that's us, man, the nation of Israel. Because right now we at the base. We are the ones without the military power. We have Yahweh Shah, but we going through what is it? I'm trying to say we're going through our humble phase, man. You know what I'm saying? This is we here to suffer oh my gosh, it's a word I always use. I can't think of a pinch of it. Oh, I don't know. What is the word I was using? I can't even think of it right now. Hopefully, Lord willing to come to me. But right now, we here for I'm trying to say it's not consequences. Um, gosh, what's that word? I can't even think of it right now. But anyway, we are the Lord, we are the poor, we are the weak. Like I said, because we don't have that military might. We don't have anything, the power like Esau. We have Yahweh Shah. But as I said, we here because we like I said, we going through our humble phase pretty much. We have to be humble before we get in the kingdom. We going through the part of where we went off, and so now we got to face the consequences. But pretty much, right? I lost that part, but I can't remember what the hell I was going to say, man. It's a word that I always use for that, and I can't even think of it. The hell. So who's the poor? Like I said, they left the poor, they left them destitute and foreclosed their homes. So they took the land, taking homes through legal manipulation, sheer force, power, all these different things. Man, they just doing anything they want just to constantly oppress the poor, which is the nation of Israel, the Negroes, Latinos, Native American. Let's continue. Let's go to verse 20. I'm trying to get this off of here. Let's just do this. All right, let's go back down. Where we at? Verse 20. Again, let's read this. They will never enjoy the streams of olive oil or rivers of milk and honey. They will get back everything they worked for. Their wealth will bring them no joy, for they oppressed the poor and left them destitute. They foreclosed on their homes. Verse 20, they are always greedy and never satisfied. Nothing remains of all the things they dreamed about. See that? So let's go to the book of Habakkuk. They're never satisfied. This is why they have over 800 military bases throughout America. You know, uh, they going in stealing people resources, even though America has enough, is a big enough country or a decent enough country to have its own resources, but they have to stay in power and prove that they're this and prove that that. What's most important, they're fulfilling their lot. In our reality, they're greedy and never satisfied, man. So let's go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. We're going to read verse 5 to go with, no, spelled it wrong. Let's see. Habakkuk, Habakkuk chapter 2. Right here, we're going to read verse 5, and it says, NLT, wealth is treacherous, the arrogant are never at rest. They open their mouths as wide as the grave, and like death, they are never satisfied. In their greed, they gather up many nations, swallowed up many peoples, man. So, yeah, along with Job 20, that Esau is never satisfied. He's the most greediest man in the world, the most bloodthirsty man in the world. All he does is rape, rob, and murder throughout the whole country. Like I said, he's fulfilling his lot. In all reality, all that is going to come back on him. Like I said, the Lord is rising up Esau, allowing him to do all these things just to add on sin on top of sin and to build this man up, just so he can show his power like he did with Pharaoh and back in the day with Egypt, man. Right? So let's continue on Job. Then we're going to read on down from 20. All right, let's go. Let's flip down a little bit back where I was at. Right here again, for they oppressed the poor and left them destitute and foreclosed on their homes. They are always greedy and never satisfied. Nothing remains of all the things they dreamed about. Nothing is left after they finish gorging themselves, therefore their prosperity will not endure. Verse 22, in the midst of the plenty, they will run into trouble because they'll be overcome by misery, right? And because their wealth and all their strength and everything that they got is built on consumption and exploitation, rather than being honest and getting it the right way. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is going to destroy them completely, man. The Lord is not going to let it prosper, right? The prosperity is going to be is destined to be burnt out. And how it's going to be burnt out with them nuclear missiles? You know, the, they take everything they see. They feel successful because they have plenty, they have all the wealth, but it was all taken over by greed. You know what I'm saying? And just when they think they are safe, that's when everything hits, man. And these people going through it, you know what I'm saying? They know what's going on. The elites know, which is why I said they freezing themselves, they cloning themselves, building underground bunkers, building up space forces up in the heavens, man, because they know the truth. They know what's going to happen. They know they're going to go into misery. They know their time is almost up. They know their prosperity is going to be withered away. They can't flourish forever. No kingdom has ever lived forever besides the kingdom of the Lords, right? And because they didn't build their life on a solid foundation and gain it through honesty and treated and oppressed the nation of Israel and exalting themselves as God, man, they gonna lose everything. How they gonna lose everything? By them nuclear missiles. Right? Let's continue. Verse 23. May God give them a belly full of trouble. May God rain his anger down upon them. What's them rain? What's that rain? That's them nuclear missiles coming down. Right? Verse 24. It says, when they try to escape, an iron tip or bronze tip arrow will pierce them. See that? That's the nukes, man. The nukes are going to just destroy them completely, wipe this place out within 60 minutes, within an hour. Verse 25. The arrow pulled from his back, and the arrowhead glistened with blood. The terrors of death are upon them. And that's that divine judgment of the Lord, man. Because, when that arrow is pulled from the back, you pull it out. That's automatic death, man. So that's the divine judgment of the Lord. The nuclear missile is gonna rain down on this place. The 2/3 gonna be destroyed. A lot of these other different nations gonna be destroyed, but most importantly, America's gonna be destroyed along with Israel getting the hit too, because Israel has to be cleansed because of over there them fake blues over there, man. All right. So let's continue. Verse 26. It says, the treasure will be thrown into the deepest, darkest the deepest dark it's like it will be thrown into deepest darkness. A wildfire will devour their goods, consuming everything they have left. And that's that lake of fire. All their goods, all their wealth, everything that they prospered on, their strength, everything that they flourished on is going to be completely wiped out in the lake of fire, man. Right? Let's go to Psalms 21 and 9. Grab a precept. Psalms 21 and 9. Uh, right here. It says, you would throw them into a flaming furnace when you appear. See, when the Lord comes, he gonna hit them with the news and they put them all their judgment. They're gonna be put in the lake of fire. The Lord will consume them in his anger, and the fire will devour them. That's that lake of fire, man. No, that lake of fire is not hell. The lake of fire is gonna be all of America, be on set on fire by them nuclear missiles. And it takes a minute for a fire to die down, and the Lord is not gonna put anything to die out. So in the day, the Lord gonna make sure they feel that fire, even the 2/3. He gonna make sure they feel that fire all the way to that fire go down. The Lord is gonna make sure they feel it. People gonna be watching other people's faces getting melted off of them. The skin being peeled off, skin being melted, running around screaming. It's gonna be, it's gonna be torturous, man. All right. So let's continue on Job 26. It's like a Job 20 and 26. Continue to read on that. 25. The arrow poured from their back, and the arrow glistened with blood, and the terrors of death are upon them. It says their treasures will be thrown into the deepest darkness. A wildfire will devour their goods, consuming all they have left. Verse 27, the heavens will reveal their guilt and the earth will testify against them. And that's what the heavens is doing right now. Revealing Esau who the man of perdition is, man. Who the man of sin is. Revealing all the secrets, the darkest places. The Lord is showing all his secrets and embarrassing his man. That's right here. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 49:10. Jeremiah 49:10. And it says, but I will strip Esau, I will strip bare the land of Edom, and there will be no place left to hide. His children, his brothers, and neighbors will all be destroyed, and Edom itself will be no more. You see that? So the Lord is going to wipe out this man's whole bloodline. All of Esau's family tree will be destroyed, man. And right now, but the main point is how all these athletes and entertainers being exposed, all the wickedness is being exposed, the adrenochrome, the sex trafficking children, you know, all the fake news and all the fake political votes and all these different things that they got. The food is fake. Everything they got, man, the Lord is exposing them. The Lord is exposing who the true wicked man is. How they had them underground tunnels under the Children's Museum with with the fake blues, man. How they uh, stole our identity, stole our true names. Everybody's finding out who the real people, who the real blues are. And the Lord is stripping, making Esau be exposing this man, stripping him of all his wealth, stripping him of all his riches, stripping him off the economy. Everything is weathering away slowly, slowly, slowly each day, man. Like I said, he right now he's it seems like he's flourishing because he have to keep that image. He seems like he's in prosperity because, like I said, he has to keep that image. But in our reality, behind closed doors, man, this place is weathering away more and more each day, right? And he says, and there will be no place left to hide. His children, his brothers, his neighbors will all be destroyed, and Edom himself will be no more. In fact, let's go to Job 18. Let's get more into that. Because Esau's whole family tree is gonna be wiped out. I think it's Job 18. Let's try that now. Oops, nope, that's not what Job 18. So I did right here. Yep, it says right here. The homes of the wicked will burn down, burning sulfur rains on their houses, just same as it said in Job 20. This is, proof that the nuclear missile is going to destroy everything that they gain, the wealth, the riches, everything will be burnt in the lake of fire. The roots will dry up, and their branches will wither away. That's Esau's family tree. All memory of their existence will fade from the earth, and no one will remember their names. They will be thrust into darkness driven from the world right here. They will have neither children nor grandchildren nor any survivor in the place where they live. People in the West are appalled at their fate, and people in the East are horrified. They would say, this is the home of a wicked person, the place of the one who rejected Yahweh. That's Esau, man. All of America, all of Idumea, all of Edom is going to be destroyed. Like I said, the whole family tree is going to be wiped off the face of the earth after 1,000 years of hardcore slavery. After the kids, everybody had their turn to go into slavery. They're going to be whooping on their ass 1,000 years, working on their ass 1,000 years. You know, we're gonna be taking everything they have, pressing them, taking their pride, taking their dignity. You know what I'm saying? After that, they're gonna be wiped off the face of the earth completely. All memory, right here, Job 18:70, all memory of their existence will fade from the earth. No one will even remember their names. No one is mighty gonna remember Esau, man. All the infrastructure, everything he built up, his laws and legislation, everything that represents Esau will be wiped off the face of the earth. All of that, man. Even death, because everything he promotes is death. But more importantly, even us, man, we're gonna be immortal in the kingdom. We're not gonna be able to die no more, get sick. Everything that Esau puts out here to give us these diseases, these pharmaceutical pills, and all these cancerous foods, and poisonous waters, and all the fucked up toothpaste and mouthwashes, hair stuff that they use. Everything is meant to destroy us, man. Mentally, physically, on TV, everything is fucking sexualized. Um, Everything they promote is just wickedness, man. Even you look at the Grammys, man, everybody got some stupid, weird ass costumes. It's like a big ass Halloween party, man. You know, whoever, and everybody, only person who gets the Grammy is the people who did the most foolery. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of bullshit, man. And this is why this man has to go. Nobody gives a fuck about Esau. We got this man. In order for this world to flourish properly, Esau has to get wiped off the face of the earth. And the Lord is showing us how not to run the earth by putting this man in power. This is what we get for going off and trying to cling on to Esau, trying to cling on to these different nations and not following Yahweh, Yahweh Shah. Now we have to go through here as a consequence to be humbled, you know. as our trials and tribulations, we got to go through here and get fucked up, oppressed, and tortured, because we went off going up under this dumbass man. And like I said, the only way the earth is gonna prosper is when we come into power, man, and when Esau's out of power, right? Or when that whole family tree is wiped off the face of the earth. So let's go back to Job 20. Let's continue on down. I think I was at 27. Again, let's read 26. Again, the treasure will be thrown into the deepest darkness. A wildfire will divide their goods, consuming all they have left. Same thing, basically saying in Job 18. The heavens will reveal their guilt, which is what the Lord is doing now. He's revealing everything, exposing this man, Epstein Island files, exposing what ICE is doing, all the deepest, darkest secrets that Esau think nobody is seeing. The Lord is exposing this man. He is the man of sin, the man of perdition, the man of lawlessness. And the earth will always testify against him. A flood will sweep away the house, and God's anger will ascend out of them in torrents, if I'm saying that right. Uh, and it says the reward that God gives the wicked. This is the reward that Yahweh gives the wicked. It is an inheritance decreed by Yahweh. So while we have an inheritance of inheriting these nations and having complete control of the whole earth, Esau's reward is straight harsh judgment. It's hardcore bondage judgment and getting wiped off the face of the earth, being evaporated, man. So the triumph of the wicked is short lived. It's only temporary. The Lord is allowing this. He's building this man up. And the Lord is slowly bringing him down. The Esau's kingdom is slowly withering away. Right, and we just grab that with the precepts, man. Also, too, let's go to the Book of Wisdom of Solomon real quick. Wisdom of Solomon it says the same thing. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, real quick. Right here it says New Revised Standard Version. It don't matter. It says, "For we are born by mere chance, and hereafter there shall be as we have never been. For the breath in our nostrils as smoke, and the reason is spark kindled by beating on our hearts. When it is extinguished, the body will turn to ashes, and our spirit will dissolve like empty air." See that? Our name will be forgotten in time, and no one will remember our works. Then we just read that in the book of Job, chapter 18 and chapter 20. It says the same thing. It says, our life will pass away like a trace in the cloud and be scattered like a mist. This is chased by the rays of the sun and overcome by its heat. For our allotted time is passing of a shadow. There is no return from our death because it's sealed up and no one turns back. See, right here, this is what they doing right now. They enjoying the good things. They're trying to flourish and still show they in power, still enjoy this prosperity. It says, "Come, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that existed, which is America, and let us make of the creation full as in youth. Let us take our full costly wine and perfumes, and let no flower offspring pass us by. Let us crown ourselves with the rosebuds before their weather." See that? So they know what time it is, man. They still trying to show they in power. They still trying to flourish and have this prosperity, but the Lord is bringing this place down, man, and they know it. This place is slowly weathering their way more and more each day. What do I say? Let us crown ourselves with the rosebuds before their weather, before it's time. A rose always dies, man. They have them back in the day, the Greek Romans had them little flower crowns on their head and shit like that. Meant something, man. All that shit is done. All that shit is withering away. Everything everything that they touch that they think is flourishing and that's giving them security and giving them wealth, all that is gonna be weathered away and destroyed in the lake of fire with them nuclear missiles, man. The Lord is bringing nothing but harsh judgment and punishment and death to Esau, even the so-called white man. So don't worry about just because it seemed like everything they doing, they getting away with it. They not getting away with it, man. You know what I'm saying? Every only reason, like I said, they boastful is only because they haven't suffered any consequences yet. But the Lord is saving the best for last, man, and that's Esau Edom in America. All of America is going to be destroyed completely, enough for where the whole world can see it and be in awe because of all the boastful and how prosperous they've been and how powerful their military is. But nobody's military is more powerful than Yahweh Shah's, man. But when them chariots come, they're gonna be wreaking havoc. When the nukes come, when the Lord send them nukes, it's gonna be wreaking havoc, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's that perfect balance. While the nukes coming down, Lord, we're not part of that number. The elect gonna be getting beamed up. That's the perfect balance of the Lord. They giving them a time to run the earth. Now, after this, it's gonna be our time where we're gonna be in rulership forever. So I truly hope this lesson was edifying. Um, Just wanted to bring this out. The triumph from the wicked is short lived. So, first and foremost, we give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Again, all praise and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who brought out this truth many, many years ago and still to the day preaches this truth. I would say Shalom. Truly hope this lesson was edifying. Shalom.